Welcome to Alberta Conservation Association's Harvest Your Own podcast, the resource for everything hunting, navigating through the field, the butcher shop, and the kitchen. Life is all about great food. Let's get started.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Brad Fenson, an avid outdoor enthusiast who has worked as a freelance journalist, photographer, and public speaker for over 3 decades. I have hunted, fished, and foraged all my life and hope to share my passion for the outdoors. Along the way, I want to encourage everyone to harvest wild proteins and enjoy the satisfaction of providing the next meal for your family. Our goal is to educate, entertain, and inspire individuals to get outdoors and create a connection between food, health, and your future meals. Welcome to Harvest Your Own and another episode of BrAdvice. Today we're going to be talking about shooting. I like to always say, shoot often, shoot straight. And that is the key to success in the end, is getting out to practice. For a couple of years, I actually got out. I set a goal to get out every month of the year to do some type of shooting, whether it was rimfire, centerfire, shotgun. But the more trigger time you have, the more accurate you are when it comes to being in the field and bringing some fresh game home for the freezer or for dinner. So, how do you get out and practice? I mean, sometimes it's hard. We don't all have a range membership. We don't have time. We work. We've got kids. Whatever it is, it's hard to do. So do find some time to get out and practice with live fire. But there are some exercises you can do at home to increase your success rate, increase your accuracy, and more importantly, get a better feel and understanding for the firearms that you want to use in the field. One of the best exercises that I've ever done that helped me be on target with a shotgun was to use a flashlight. You need something with a small diameter, like a mini mag light, that'll fit into the barrel of a shotgun, especially a 12 gauge. You might have to fine-tune things for a smaller gauge shotgun. But with the mini mag light, you can also adjust the light and make it about a foot in diameter, about 30 centimeters. And then what you can do is practice shouldering that shotgun and look at where the light is pointed. That'll tell you exactly where your pattern is going with the shotgun. So it's a visual teaching aid that is very important, and it's a very strong teaching aid. I often get people to start by putting the shotgun in the barrel. You can tape it in so it doesn't move if you need to right on the end. And then close your eyes, picture where you want your shot to be, and shoulder the gun. Then open your eyes and see where the light is. It's a real eye-opener when you see that maybe you're, 2 goose lengths off of where you were trying to have that shotgun pointed. So it'll tell you a couple different things. It'll tell you if the shotgun fits you correctly and whether or not you need to make some alterations. If you're continually pointing high or low, the shotgun butt is probably too long or too short. You can make those adjustments with it or try something different, try another firearm. But when you start to open your eyes and see that the pattern's right where you want it, you know that gun fits you. And you know that you understand where you're pointing it is also where your pattern's going to go. I take it a step further, and, I was out at one of the Outdoor Women programs one time and helped some ladies at the target range get on target. They were having problems. They'd never shot a shotgun before. It's heavy. It's hard to swing. It's hard to get in front of a target. It's hard to picture that all in your mind, pull the trigger, and be successful. So what we did, we found some lines on the tree line or the edge of a meadow or something. And I say, get that bead and work it down that tree line. If one tree goes up, work the bead up and over the tree and keep going and then come back down along the meadow the other way, so that you're swinging all the way right along the trees and then all the way left along the edge of the meadow going back. Just handling a gun and making sure you understand the weight of it, how to swing it, how to stay on target is really important for when a bird comes and starts changing directions. You can flow with it with the shotgun. It's going to flow up and down in your hands and stay on target. So I also do the same thing with the flashlight. And this was the best exercise I ever did to up my game when I was shooting clay targets and eventually shoot more birds. Put that shotgun in, go out to the garage or something and get that bead of light on the seam between the wall and the ceiling. Now, run your light along that so that you stay with even proportion on the wall and ceiling. And swing that shotgun right, swing it left, see where there's issues. A lot of times people have more fluent movement going one way. I know I shoot better left to right, so I often practice my right to left because it's a little bit more awkward and it's hard to stay on target. But that flashlight is the same as shooting a real pattern, and it teaches you how to handle that gun in order to put that pattern of shot where you want it. So practice inside. Snap shoot is where you lift the gun and have it pointed exactly where you want it. So if you're going out grouse hunting and you're shooting them when they're running through the forest, shoulder that gun, bang, you want it right on the target. Oh, pick an object on the wall, whether it's a light bulb on the ceiling, a picture on the wall, a fly that's in your house that might be sitting somewhere. Lift the gun and make sure it's pointed right there. Does that beam of light go where you want it to? If it does, you've been practicing. If it doesn't, if you're shaky, if you're slow, if you're having trouble, you need to practice. The beauty of the flashlight exercise is that you don't need to do it for hours on end. You don't need to do it like we go for a round of sporting clays or trap where we have to set aside 2 or 3 hours, drive out to the range, shoot, spend a couple hours walking around, all the rest of it. A flashlight exercise you can do every evening for 10 minutes. And after a week, you're going to be substantially better. After a month, you're going to be amazed at how much easier it is to swing that shotgun and know where that pattern's going. So most people try to aim a shotgun when they get started, but it's really important to know that you'll always point a shotgun. You aim a rifle, you point a shotgun. So to understand how that shotgun's going to work and how it's going to be accurate, you need to understand where the pattern is. Of course, you could always make some patterning boards or take a cardboard box and draw a dot on it and shoot it and see where the actual pattern of a shotgun goes, but it's more time consuming. You need to be out where it's safe. You need to be a place where you have access to a shooting range or property where you can shoot. But the flashlight exercise you can do without ever pulling the trigger. So get a shotgun, get a mini mag light or a small flashlight and practice and see if it doesn't make a big difference for how your success rate is in the field this fall, whether you're shooting on the wing waterfowl or if you're shooting grouse in the forest. That shotgun is going to come to your shoulder faster. You're going to aim it immediately and be accurate. And you know that from where that light goes. And to play with the light in terms of the size, make it smaller. If you start to get really good at things, make that light small and see if you can also stay on target when you're swinging it along the ceiling and the wall, when you're trying to get that snapshot on a fly on the wall. Where does that light go? The smaller it is, the more fine-tuned you will be at shooting. Now, there's also some exercises you can do with a rifle, and I would strongly suggest that people work on trigger control. That's probably the number one thing to increase your accuracy. People tend to jerk the trigger or pull it to the side, and that's going to pull you off target in that split second it takes for that trigger to pull, the sear to drop, and the firing pin to hit the primer on your cartridge and send the bullet down range. There is a millisecond time delay and all that stuff. So if you're not dead still when you pull that trigger, there's always the chance that you're pulling yourself off target. The harder you pull the trigger, the more the gun's going to move. So trigger control means squeezing that trigger and being able to hold the gun perfectly steady until that trigger breaks without moving the barrel. It's a great exercise to do. Now, I would tell people to either go to a sporting goods store or go online and buy some snap caps. Now, snap caps are strongly recommended for dry firing most shotguns and rifles, especially if you're doing it repeatedly for training, maintenance checks, or when you're storing it. So a snap cap is in there, and what it does is it's got it's not a live cartridge. It's a practice cartridge where the firing pin can actually hit a fake primer that's on a spring and move it so that it's like a natural movement for your gun to go through. And that snap cap is very important as a dummy cartridge. They're made of metal or plastic or a combination of both. And they simulate the presence of a live round without containing the primer. So it's a great practice thing, but it protects that firearm ultimately. They have them for rim fire and center fire. So find the ones you need and make sure you put them to use. When you are dry firing without a cartridge or snap cap in place, the firing pin can strike nothing but air, And this could lead to metal fatigue. It can often lead to a broke firing pin. So again, very important to use those snap caps. It's a great thing for safe function testing and practice. But most of all, it teaches you that trigger control. So get the snap cap. If you're trying to shoot offhand, look through your target, look through your optics at low power. See if you can stay on target and pull the trigger without the barrel moving. It's also going to stress to you how much you need a good rest to be accurate. So whether you're using shooting sticks or sitting on the bench, practice pulling that trigger and don't let that barrel move. If you're actually doing it with a shotgun, you can put that light back in the barrel, pull the trigger, and see if that light moves at all. It is a great visual indicator if you need to work on trigger control and trigger pull. So, again, whether you're shooting rimfire, centerfire, shotgun, practice, practice, practice. If you can't get in the field, use a light. If you don't have a light and you want to do stuff with centerfire, you could actually use a laser bore sighter for the same type of exercise that you have with a flashlight. That laser bore sight goes in the barrel, and it'll give you a light on a wall or a distant object that you can put that on and see where the gun is aiming. Now, I don't want people to get confused when they're using the laser bore sighter, because you're going to put that laser on the wall and you're going to look through the scope and say, oh my goodness, my crosshair isn't on the dot. Of course not, because the bore of your rifle is at a distant height than the scope, which is mounted above the bore. So it's an adjustment that we often have trouble understanding when we see it on the wall. But, the optics are sighted in properly for longer distances. Where your crosshair is where the bullet will travel. But it's also a good tool to use to make sure your gun's always sighted in. If you have a laser bore sighter, you can put it in there, and if you look at an object at 20 yards and that laser dot is about 2 inches low or left or right a little bit, you can make a note of that, and you will know you're on target. What that means is you put the gun away for 2 months and you get back to it and you want to go out hunting, you wonder, wow, I wonder if anything happened, or maybe you dropped a firearm and you want to test it. You can put that laser bore sighter in there, put that dot back on the wall, look at it with your scope and say, yep, it's still 2 inches high and a 1/4 inch left. It's perfect. If it has moved, you're going to have to go to the range and re-sight. So some little tips for using your firearms without shooting live ammunition, to have some practice time, to increase your accuracy, and ultimately increase your success rate in the field. So have fun. Make the practice fun. Find a partner to play with and shoot with, and watch those beams, see what they're doing. They're going to tell you a lot. And best of luck out hunting this fall. And hopefully your practice allows you to bring home more ducks, geese, grouse, pheasants, and deer, and whatever else you're chasing. We hope to inspire people to reconnect with nature and appreciate where your food comes from by harvesting your own. For more information on getting started, or to learn specifics about the Field to Fork experience, visit harvestyourown.ca and follow on Facebook and Instagram. Check back often for new material, recipes, and videos that are posted regularly. Please subscribe to Harvest Your Own podcast and take the time to rate and review the show to help us build a dedicated core of passionate hunters as our regular audience. Until next time, embrace the outdoors and all it has to offer. Thanks for joining us.